So welcome to another unboxing video from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander, and today we're taking a look at A Time for Trumpets from GMT Games. And this game is designed by Bruno Sinigaglio. And I don't know, who knows if I butchered that or not. I apologize if I did. First off, 10 out of 10 artwork. I really like it. This is a monster game. It comes in a 3-inch box, and this is almost as heavy as any game with wooden blocks in it, but it is not a block war game by any stretch of the imagination. It is an 8 on the complexity scale, 7 on the solitaire suitability, and probably just two-hand it and be just fine. It plays 1 to 5 players, so you play it on your own. You can play it and divvy it up to 5. A lot of the times you're gonna probably play it with 2, I would imagine. But the time is 20 hours plus, which is quite vague because there's a lot of numbers that are bigger than 20. So this is a monster game. I think it's 5 maps sheets, 12 counter sheets. It's one of those games where when you retire you'll play it, or you'll play it at a convention one time. This is just a massive experience. So, to start with, we can look at the rules of play. And the rules of play come in at a cool 64 pages. Of actual rules, if we really cut down some of like the examples and the indices and stuff, probably we're coming in at about 48, 50 pages. That's because there's some advanced stuff at the end. But it's a lot of fairly dense text. It's all 2-column. There's some illustrations and diagrams of the different counters and bits and pieces. But this is not for the faint of heart. It's a massive, massive operational game. So this thing is huge. Then there's a playbook, which I would presume... Oh, I thought this would have the scenarios in. My mistake. There's a scenario book. So, this is the... Oh my gosh. This is the Play Aid book. So this is all the CRTs, the random events tables, events descriptions, and these correlate to different areas and regions. So everywhere has their own little events table. We have reinforcement schedules, allied reinforcement schedules. Phew, there is a lot of them. I think these are the different areas where things are divvied up. That's what all those charts were for. And there is a massive amount of them. Endgame scenario charts. That's just a lot of stuff. Setup. These are setup charts. There's a lot of stuff in here, I'll be honest. That's a lot of stuff. Okay. Then we've got the scenario book. And the scenario book is 60 pages. So I'm sure there is a ton of small scenarios, big scenarios, everything in between. This is a lot of stuff. But at least they provide us with yet more setup charts. Ooh, some of which is very nicely illustrated. That should make it quite easy to set up, I would hope. We will see. So I'm hoping that makes this more accessible if you want to just play some of those smaller bits and pieces. That'll be very nice. Okay, so that's our... what? Nearly 180 pages of rules and charts. Okay. Now we're getting into our 12 counter sheets. We'll get to the maps in a bit. Okay. So these are a very thick grey core, which is very nice. And punching wise, these not quite fall out of the sprue, but they may as well do. The nubs aren't terrible. You could play with these if you wanted to save yourself from having to punch 12 counter sheets. But if you want to punch them, just take 2 weeks off and you'll be able to get it done. So this is the sheet 1. We got allies here. Obviously lots of infantry-based units, and then for tanks, we have tank steps with the armor picture on them rather than the NATO symbol for those. They do have reduced sides on them as well. And we'll go through these because there's a lot of stuff that looks familiar. But they're all very nice. Everything's very clean, very crisp. Here we got a couple of Bailey bridges as well. And some, what looks like some fortifications maybe. Here we've got some fog and weather markers. We have some air units here at the bottom as well. And some surprised markers. And it looks like we've got our leaders here as well, our generals, which have a nice little historical picture on them. And they have a spent side on the back of them as well. Here we've got the Brits. We've got 30 corps. So we've got all those nice Churchills and Shermans and Cromwells. Very nice. And then we're going to get into the Axis forces. So these, what do we got here? We got lots of stuff. Is that a... Okay. So it looks like we've got Tiger 2s or King Tigers. Got little Hetzer. We got regular Tigers. And these look like Panzer IVs, but I'm not quite sure. That's somewhat vague. We got Panthers with the SS units down here. More SS. We got Dietrich. And we've got their air units as well. What little there was. Now we've got Leopanzer units over here. There's so many units. This is a lot of units. And it's a big game. But this is a lot of units. And frankly, almost all of it has been units. Only now we're starting to get into like a good chunk of admin markers. Again, most of these still units. Admin markers, and here we've got reserve markers, construction markers, resting markers on the back of those as well. Here we've got probably defensive positions, fortifications, engagement markers maybe. Looks like those are building, and then those are constructed with some kind of defensive capacity on them. And the last counter sheet, another sheet of admin counters for supply, movement, different units being attached or detached, shark attack, resting units, things like that. There is a lot of that. So that's 12 counter sheets, no big deal. Then we have, okay, oh, that's interesting. So now we have, there's 5 map sheets, and we'll look at these here in just a second. We're going to get those out last because that's going to be somewhat unwieldy. We do have play aid cards, so that is nice. I'm glad that that's the thing. Get these out. We have a little bag with 2d6 in them. Those are actually really nice dice. They're nicely rounded to an extent, but they're really dense pips, and those are quite large dice. And there is a shipping insert in here if you want to get rid of that. I'll keep it for now. Okay, so the play aids, I want to say these were scenario based. No, looks like that's not the case. Good gracious. These are going to progress you through the game. Oh, there's a lot. Okay, alright. So we have this play aid card 1A, mutual player segment. So I think that both players are going to do all this stuff, going through fuel shortages, fuel dump checks, freshness, big sequence of play. That's nice. Keep that out handy. And then turn prep segment. A lot of preparation, air commitments, things like that. Play aid card 2A, zone of control chart, road movements, infiltration tables, a lot of combat unit stacking allowances. There's a lot of stuff here. A lot of detail is what I would say. Traffic jam chart, road movement chart. Then we've got here played card 3A. So we've got naval Wehrpfehr attack support chart, regular field artillery attack support chart, and then field artillery defense support. There's, again, a lot of detail back and forth. Bombardment tables with shock, and then ground combat procedure. Very detailed combat procedure, I guess. Terrain effects chart on ground combat. Blitzkrieg attack table. Ground combat results. So this is our big CRT. Step loss, taken steps. Advance after combat chart. Weapons effects on ground combat. So you'll get modifiers based on what weapon you're using against what unit, I guess. Which is very crunchy detail. If that's what you want, that's fine. Terrain effects on ground. Oh, these are the same. Oh, that's nice. So both players are going to get one of these. That's good, because this is where a lot of the detail is, frankly. Okay, I feel good about that. That's better. And these are artillery support charts and unit holding boxes, I guess, for the different units. And these are for the different cores, the different Axis core. And these are single-sided. I don't know if this is... Yeah, this is fairly wild. And we've got the chain of command hierarchy there as well, which are going to play into these. So, a lot. That's a lot of stuff. Now, we also have the Allied chain of command, which is right there. Okay, so let's get onto the maps. And these aren't... Alright. So this is... I literally don't have space for these. I will probably never have space for this many maps, just to be clear. That's why I say it's good convention fare, because you get the big tables together. So this is map number 1. It's map northwest. This is northwest, the top left-hand corner of the map. And it is a nice map, right? It's a nice wargame map. There's a hex grid over it. Every hex is numbered. There's a lot of towns, villages, that kind of thing. You can see where the rivers are, which typically go along hex edges. Looks like they've done that for playability. Okay, and then we have the back end of the game turn track here as well. Then we have map, let's see, this is map northeast. Lots of forest. It's the Ardennes. I don't know what you were expecting. Okay. But to stick them together, there's a bit of an overlap here. Here we go. Like this. This is what you're going to end up with if you're playing the full game. So you need 2 this way, and I think it's 2 down that way, and another one. So yes, there are a lot of units, but there's a lot of map space. Okay, now this map is, I want to say southwest. He says, oh, okay. This, so it looks like it's going to be 3 portrait with 2 landscape on top. So you can see here. Let me shuffle these around for a second. Whoa. These line up with the turn track like this, but they're a different orientation. This one's landscape, the other one's portrait. Oh, the other way around. My apologies. So it's got Behave on it. Rochefort. Now we've got, I don't know what they're going to... This is South Central. Oh, got to run around. So this has a Bastogne on it, La Roche. And then on this side, we have the Southeast map. Which I'm sure will be Axis forces starting over here, trying to bash out to the west, and then there'll be a counterattack back east. I mean, I presume that's going to be. So this is a colossal game. This is probably on par with the biggest game that I own. It's size-wise. It might even be the biggest. It's very close. If you're into this kind of thing, if you have the space and time for this, go for it. I'm sure this is a very detailed magnum opus style exploration of Battle of the Bulge. I will, at best, try some of the small scenarios to see the mechanics of the game. I literally can't fit more than 2 maps on my table, though, so there's basically no way anytime soon that we would be able to play a giant campaign of this. I will be very upfront with that. But the fact that these are getting designed and that it's going to print tells me that A, there's an audience for it, and B, that it went through at least enough playtesting where they're comfortable releasing something that isn't whack. So I know that there is a good number of people out there who play these kind of things, have the space and time for it, and the inclination, and do it. So I know there's people out there doing it. If this is you, if you have this and you have played it, or you intend to play this and you've played games like this at this size, please comment below. Please let us know how they are and how much time you commit to them, and if we should also all join in on the fun, because this, at the moment, I'd have to buy a new house to be able to play this, basically. But this is a Time for Trumpets from GMT. It just came out. I am curious to see how the game is, because the rules are very crunchy indeed, and how that works out with, unit placement and interaction, and how you actually conduct your attacks. Clearly be very important. So you might see more of this. It might be a while before you see anything, just to be fair to you. But this is Time for Trumpets from GMT. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I've been Alexander from theplayersaid.com.